What's going on? It's your boy Mixmaster B here live from the MMB Radio studios for the MMB Radio podcast, where no topic is too big or too small. We talk about them all. And today's guest is a woman who literally is a star in the making. Having celebrated just 1 year in the adult business, she has taken the world by storm. She is the most watched Brazzers seen in all of 2021. And now she's going to be a guest on our podcast right here on MMB Radio. So I'm going to welcome her in right now, Miss Jenna Starr. Jenna, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. And I mean, wow. First off, congratulations. I mean, it's just just a little over a year that you've been in the business, right?
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned, we're going to talk about the Brazzers and everything. But for people out there who are still getting accustomed to who you are, the pandemic kind of screwed a lot of people over and did a lot of crazy things for people, but it also opened up doors and opportunities for people. So having already known your backstory a little bit, kind of explain to people who don't know your backstory, like how did you get into the adult business? Because you had your own business before you ventured into this world.
So, it's kind of a weird situation. I just kind of felt like I was supposed to be doing it. Like I'm following like an inner intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I was always called my ex's best friend, he used to call me Jenna Starr 12 years ago. And he'd be like, Jenna Starr, Jenna, you look like a porn star. Jenna, you're a porn star. And I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. You're stupid. Like, okay, blonde, tan, boobs, sure.
I mean, you're checking off all the boxes.
Yeah, so I was just
So, I mean, he wasn't far-fetched.
Right. So through time, it just kept becoming people kept pushing me to it, I was just like, I think I'm supposed to be doing this because everyone thinks I'm doing it. Everyone thinks I look like it. Everyone, people are, act really weird around me and stuff. So I was like, I think I'm just supposed to do this. That's where it originally, in my mind, how it came up, It wasn't like the throat goat and I was like, I can be famous.
I mean, hey, if it's not bragging if you can do it, you know what I mean?
I'm learning. So basically, I had started a business. I got out of California, the rat race, and I moved to Texas. As soon as I moved to Texas in 2016, I started my own business right away. I had kind of had a plan before I got there. Didn't know anybody, didn't know anything at all, and followed my intuition there as well. And in 10 months, I got my business running full-fledged off the ground and, starting to live comfortably for me and my family. And let's see, COVID hit. My business was flourishing. COVID hit, shut down my business. Everyone got shut down, and I had already started an OnlyFans though before COVID.
So you had the OnlyFans when you had your business, or no?
Yes. So I had started it because I wanted multiple streams of income to build that mansion one day.
Mm-hmm.
So I was already on the multiple, I want to have more than one income. Plus, I wanted to make money online so that I could move where I wanted to and be more flexible and free. Basically, how I'm living right now.
Yes.
And so that was the vision a long time ago, several years ago. And I loved my business. I loved my clients. But at the end of the day, even if I went on vacation, and I still had to come back, and I still had to be, to come back at a certain time. I had clients scheduled, and I was always very dedicated to my business. So that shut down. It was very heartbreaking. I was very, very moody and emotional through COVID, especially hearing people who were excited about it. I just thought it was just really messed up because I worked so hard for my business and got it going. and it was just the rug was pulled out from under me. So I had already started my OnlyFans. When COVID hit, I was like, this is it, you know, it's all or nothing. I'm going to start putting all my energy into this, because I could have tried to drain myself and rebuild my business that I already started and everything. But I just didn't think it was, you know, I was like, I can always go back, but let me try this out and see where it goes. And, so I had already started the OnlyFans. I had it going for quite some time. And then Brazzers came to me on my Twitter and asked me to shoot for them. And I was like, well, I mean, of course. My vagina's already out. People already, you know, so I might as well go big or go home. So it just kind of wasn't no second guessing at that point. I had already prepared myself a year prior, you know, because it's been a few years I've been doing OnlyFans. Like before I actually started, was one of the closer to first people to kind of get on there. One of them, but I thought about it for a year, and I sat on it. And when I finally decided to do it, was just like I had let go of everything and processed everything at that point. So once I was doing it, and then Brazzers contacted me, I was just like, if I'm going to go through with this and I'm going to sacrifice certain things in my life and whatever could come of this, I'm going to go as far as I can get myself and make it worth it.
So let me ask, too, because when you were doing you had your own business and you're doing OnlyFans, did you, I mean, OnlyFans it's a slippery slope. Were you ever concerned about people finding out about your OnlyFans when you had your other business? Because you were doing them kind of like coinciding.
Let me try to dig back in those. No, people were weird before that, to be honest with you.
Nothing. That part of COVID never changed anybody. Everybody's still weird.
I get to talking about, and I get to open up about. People get to hear about like during that time in the past and all that stuff. Well, I've been an Instagram model since I started my business.
Okay. So people were already familiar with what, you know.
People were already funny about me doing modeling photos, fully clothed, pictures of my face with makeup, and especially moving to Texas is more conservative. So I had a lot of strange, like, well, why do you do that? Why do you post pictures like that of yourself? Well, you know, I mean, all these guys wouldn't be after you like that or getting the wrong idea if you weren't posting those kind of pictures. You know, you're putting yourself out there.
Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to save you.
Right, yeah. Everybody wants to save me and let me know what I'm doing wrong, and that's been at every stage of my life. So I don't think it matters. I just do what I want now.
Mm-hmm. So you did the OnlyFans, and OnlyFans was popping, and you were doing that with. Now, let me ask you too: if say COVID never happened, do you think that you would have eventually gotten into the adult business, even still having your own business, or do you think that COVID was the main force that kind of drove you into it?
I was already on that
Okay.
road. I was already on the road. I think it was how would you say this? Like the nudge, like I feel like it was meant to be, like you don't really have a choice kind of thing, but it was just a nudge that was meant to be in order for me to move to my destiny into this phase of my life. So I think it just all worked out the way it should have, even though at the time I didn't know, I didn't see it, or I mean, I had a dream or whatever, but at the time it was all just scary and, and whatever, but now it's like, oh, you know what? It was definitely meant to be.
It was like a divine intervention that you were supposed to be doing this.
Yeah, it's like when I started my business and it took off the ground. Let's see, my dad had. So when I moved to Texas, me and my little ones had moved in with my dad for a couple of months, and him and his wife intentionally kicked me out. Me and the kids for no reason. Actually, it was because they thought I was gay. Really, at the end of the day, that's what it was. And so
well, going to Texas will solve all that, you know, because they're a very, you know, liberal, forgiving, and understanding state. I'm being sarcastic when I say that.
Well, first of all, I wasn't. It was just an impression that they had made up in their heads. I am bisexual, but at the time, I really wasn't doing anything. And I know I've always been very close with women. I don't think a lot of people really understood that, and then especially like, you know, them or whatever. But so hold on a second. I'm like, my point of saying that was that when my dad did that to me, it hurt, but and it never should have happened, but it was meant to be. I'd never lived with my dad before, by the way, but when he did that, they thought I was going to fail, but within a matter of 3 months, I went to my sister's house with my kids and we laid on the floor. In a matter of 3 months, my business took off, and it's like, you know, things were meant to be. And so that was my reference to the situation with COVID.
Yeah. Like I said, it's like a, you know, divine intervention that, like, some of these things, you know, it's crazy how things kind of work out in like mysterious ways like that. And then it's for those people that I think understand it when they like see it happening. And then they're like, wow, like all this was like, this is all planned, you know, like Drake said, God's plan, you know, like somebody had a plan that this was all supposed to happen for you. And Brazzers, obviously one of the biggest companies in the business, you know, knocking on your door saying, hey, come shoot with us. But I kind of want to take it back a little bit more because, I mean, being so free-spirited, because, I mean, I think that's safe to say, you're kind of, you know, open about who you are, and, you know, in the quick time that I've, you know, just got to talk to you, I sense a little, you know, zero fucks given type attitude. Like, you're going to do what you want to do. But were you always that way? Were you always like a very outgoing child growing up? Were you always like the popular girl, or?
Not, absolutely not. So I was not the popular girl. I was a tomboy. I didn't hang out with a lot of girls very often. I would have like a couple of friends, like typical how it is now. I'd get a couple of girlfriends, but I hang out with guys and girls. And there was something else you asked.
Like, I wonder, like, how did like the sexual proudness come about? You know, because it's like,
So
I mean, everybody's blowing me up saying, you know, oh my God, Jenna, I love her. She's such a freak. She does all this, and I'm like,
no. Yeah. So I was a very closed off, like, person. I grew up in church, Apostolic Pentecostal church. No sexuality. I remember when as a child, I think back and I remember, I was bisexual. But I got in a lot of trouble for playing with my friends. And, you know, and that makes you feel like you're doing something like wrong if you don't do it. You know, coached into that or whatever, and then didn't really think about it for years, to be honest. And I feel like, you know, you just kind of feel like forced to conform to like a very straight and narrow, or what is it, societal norm, like lifestyle or whatever. But I am way more open now, and that was like a part of my goal of getting into the adult industry, was to find myself more and to find my sexuality and to feel more like open and free. And I want to, you know, and to explore more of the bisexual side of things, because you never know, like maybe the one for me is a woman, or maybe the one for me is a couple, you know, like, so what if I have a boyfriend and a girlfriend? I don't know.
I mean, hey, I mean, there's people that were blowing me up on Twitter and Instagram, And believe me, they had resumes ready. It was like fucking Indeed. It was like Monster.com. These motherfuckers were sending in applications to be with you. But was it more like when you started like experiencing and trying to find your sexuality? I mean, did it ruin friendships? I mean, obviously you said about your dad and everything, but did it ruin friendships for you? Like, did anybody kind of disown you, or like, how did that transition go?
So I never really. I'm trying to think of. Okay, I never really had a situation where I was like into it with one of my friends, and I was into her, and then I tried to make a move on her, and then it got weird or anything. That I've never had that scenario. My friends are my friends, and it's like if I could relate this for people to understand the way I view it, because I feel like it's different for other people. You know, they could agree with me or not, but for me, it's just the same way as I would look at a guy, as I would look at a woman. You're either a friend or I found you sexually attractive. You know, like it's the same concept. I'm either attracted to you in that way or I'm not. So I don't really find, you know, like, oh, I'm into my friend, or that me and my friends are playing together all the time. Because me and my friends, unless we're doing like OnlyFans, which I don't really do with a lot of my friends unless we're in the industry. So yeah, well, unless it was like separated situation.
How's people treated you since you've been in the business? Have you felt like it was welcoming? Have you found, I don't know, for a better word, of like closure, of feeling like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be?
Yeah, I would feel like, okay, I always knew I was very, very unique. And I'm like, okay, this makes more sense. Why I always felt so unique.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that makes a lot more sense. It makes more sense now. But I was going to say something else. I forgot what it was.
Well, I mean, talking about unique, you have a unique look to you. And kind of run down, like one guy wanted to know, like, what were all the measurements?
Okay, so we just did that on Nympho, and they have it recorded. And the boobs are 40. The waist was 29. And then the butt was 50.
Wow. So shout out to the guy that asked that question, because I would have guessed wrong numbers. I mean, that's amazing. Like, I mean, you have your unique look, and obviously that's why Brazzers came knocking at your door. And having shot, you know, several scenes with Brazzers, but then the third scene you shot with them got over 1 million views. And like I said, it was the most watched Brazzers scene of 2021. Kind of take us through the emotional, like, feelings of that when they tell you that. Like, that's got to be like a total mind fuck. Like, oh my God, like over 1 million views.
Yeah, well, maybe I didn't really know until almost like the whole year later, you know. But no, it was like really cool, and I was just like, wow, that's awesome. I had no idea that was going to happen. That's
potentially 1 million dudes jerking off to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like at I think that video is probably getting close to like 2 mil now.
See? And everybody, and your dad was just like, you're not going to make it. You're not going to, like, 2 million people think otherwise.
Yeah, he's just a narcissist, and people like that, they like to be above you, and they want you to think like they can pull the rug out from under you, or they need you to be below them or above you. So in order for them to do that, they like to tear you down and tell you things aren't going to work out, and you know you got to come to them, you know, and seek approval from them, and they're above you.
Yeah. Now take us through the process with Brazzers. Like, were you nervous the first time you're shooting? Because, I mean, or have you done any, I mean, obviously you did stuff with the OnlyFans, but have you done anything, like, on a live set to that nature?
Yeah, man, I was nervous. I was nervous as shit, like, and they contacted me in October. I didn't shoot until February, and I didn't tell anyone. I only told, like, two siblings and a friend, and I kept it to myself for months and months and months and drove myself crazy. And I mean, I could have imagined anything and everything. But when I got there, it was just so different. Like, I mean, not different. I don't even know what I even thought I was gonna. I tried not to think too far into it, but it was very professional, and they take really good care of you. They provide everything, and I would say one of the main things they're doing right is investing into their talent.
Now, speaking of talent, were you a fan of the business prior to becoming the business?
Out of my whole life, I probably had only briefly saw porn like twice.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't really know who anyone was. I didn't know that Starr was a common, name.
That might be why your homeboy was using Star a lot.
Well, it makes sense now. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I forgot what I was gonna say. Starting to lose my concentration.
I mean, it's like I said, you've become this mega star in such a short time, and having, like I said, over 1 million and possibly 2 million views now. And like I said, there's people in the business. Like, have you met anybody in the business that you like became a fan of in the year that you've been doing this?
I would say I thought Luna Starr was really cool. She had good energy, great body, good energy. Just I could tell like she's worked really hard for what she has, and
Is there people that you want to work with?
Yeah, so I think it would be great to work with Angela White. I already worked with Luna Starr twice. I had a list.
I have a list too of porn stars I want to work with. My list never seems to go low.
Kate D.
Okay.
Angela White, and then Siri. I don't know how to say everybody's name. Siri Adal or something. I'm probably saying her name wrong.
Now, is there any guys that you want to work with, or are you just kind of just like into the chicks?
You know what? It's funny that you say that. I started learning that I would more than likely pick women more often than men. I did a OnlyFans collab with Zach Wilde, and he seemed like a pretty good. The video was smooth. He seemed like a pretty good performer. I think that if we did a professional team together, that would go pretty well. As far as guys go, actually, there's a guy, I don't know his name. I found him. I was in a adult store here by my house in Vegas, and it looks like somebody Bridget B worked with, but I can't find the guy's name anywhere. And so I would like to.
So, if Mystery Guy, if you were listening and you remember meeting Jenna at an adult store.
No, we didn't meet.
You didn't meet? Okay.
No, I saw the DVD.
Oh, okay. So he could so you realize there's like every dude that's been on the DVD cover is going to think that you're talking about them, and they're going to be hitting you up.
Well, it was with Bridget B, and he was deep toned skin.
Okay.
And he looked different. Like I don't know.
You're going to have to find his DVD now. You're going to have to go back to that store and.
A picture of the DVD. Let me see what it says.
You got to tweet that out. It's like a missing person here.
Yeah.
Have you seen this man? Have you seen this cock?
And I thought he looked like he had a really nice body. Like,
I don't know if we're allowed to put cocks on milk cartons. It was like missing, but
where? I think it's in my screen. No, it's not in the screenshot.
but the cool thing is, like I said, you can tweet it out now, you know, and
there it is. All right. The Lion's Den presents the best of Dark X.
The best of Dark X.
I recognize on the back, or like when you look up the DVD, there's like Ricky, whatever that guy's name is. I think Prince is on there, and then there's this guy that's on there, and his name isn't anywhere.
This is the mystery. I'm telling you, you tweet that out, and people will. It's crazy because when we have guests on the podcast, we're always like, we'll tweet something or we'll be talking about something in the podcast, and we're like, I can't remember the name of that show, I can't remember the name of that movie or song or whatever, and I get a million responses from people. They're like, the song you were talking about was this song, and it came out this time, and it was like, they're like real life Wikipedia that just kind of hits you up. So you put that picture out there, I'm sure you will get a response right away.
I know, I thought about it, trust me.
And then, I mean, speaking of social media, I mean, what is that like? I mean, having so many people hit you up, like how often do you get, you know, tweets and DMs and people just wanting to kind of just have a piece of your time and a piece of maybe something else?
All day, every day.
Now, I mean, is it like, can that be, you know, a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I mean, it must be overwhelming to kind of respond to everybody.
I would say that's why I'm doing what I'm doing and where I'm at and why I'm here, is because I just started realizing I should be doing something about it, and I should be like capitalizing and profiting on the fact that I'm constantly solicited. And I mean, one day things are going to start falling out of place, and I'm not always going to look the same way, and I might as well, you know, tell my story like Rose on Titanic, you know.
You know, now let me ask too, because a lot of people would like to know, like, if you had to make up your own like dream scene, what would be your dream scene? Like, who would you like to work with? I mean, obviously, mystery guy on the, you know, the box DVD there that worked with Bridget B. I'm sure he's probably going to be in it. We'll just call him stand-in cock number one.
I think that I would be really cool. And I know he's not in the industry anymore, but what is it? Jason something.
Again, we might need Twitter's help on this one. It's like, who wants to be a millionaire? You know, it's like, do you want to use your lifeline? Tweet out. His name is James or something.
Jason Love.
Jason Love. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how long I mean, you say about that, you know, you don't think he's in the business, but how long do you expect, or how long, like, do you have a goal of, like, how long you want to be doing this, or you're just kind of riding it out and seeing what kind of happens from day to day?
Yeah, so I'm just seeing like, you know, where I'm going to go, and I feel like I'm still a baby, and I'm still trying to learn and figure, you know, learn how to use myself to my advantage and you know, work in the smartest ways possible and all that. I'm really just focusing on a lot of small goals that I'm just, you know, trying not to think like too far, like past, you know, that I want to, of course I want to go very far and everything, but I'm just trying to concentrate on a lot of like short goals right now for the long term.
Well, I mean, the good thing is Brazzers obviously recognizes, you know, talent when they see it, and, you know, they've kind of made you their poster child. I mean, your image is being used in their ad campaigns. Has any of your friends, like, hit you up and been like, hey, I just saw this surfing around?
Yeah, people, like, I went to, like, school with, you know, like, oh, yep, I've seen, you know, but I think everybody just knows now for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But it's still got to be kind of cool to see.
I have a very small circle, and I don't talk to a lot of people from my past. Now, remember, I grew up apostolic Pentecostal, so when I quit going to church, I lost all of those friends and all of those people pretty much. So...
But it's a cool thing, though, to see your image being used for, like, an ad campaign and everything. I always compare it to, it's like a singer hearing their song on the radio for the first time. You know, like, it's got to be kind of, like, cool to know the fact that, like, having only been in the business for, you know, a little over a year, and Brazzers is already putting, like, full force, like, you front and center as, like, this is the new it girl.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty cool. I don't really look around too much. Maybe I should, but I did hear about how I was on the Carnival cruise. Why they would do that, I don't know, but...
Hey, you know, like, if you're getting your name out there.
My friend was like, oh my God, you're on the you know, they have the like the TV, you can go and watch, you know, porn, I guess, on there.
Yeah,
you
can go on there and you go. It's like when you check into hotel rooms and everything. You know, you got that mystery channel on your TV there, and you hit buy, and you can buy Jenna Starr right there in your hotel room.
I guess I haven't looked.
I'm gonna have to look next time I go to a hotel and be like, yeah, ask the front desk. Excuse me, do you guys carry like Brazzers? I don't know what their reaction's gonna be when I say that.
Probably by the end of the year, you'll probably be able. I'll be a lot more like known.
Now, how many scenes have you shot to date?
So I've been losing track now.
Because I know some of them they use as like a scene and they splice it up for other movies, and it's...
I think I've done 12.
Okay.
I think with Brazzers. There's a few of them that are not out yet. There's one coming up that I'm doing, and I just did one recently, the workout one, with Xander Cordovas again. I did Nympho, I did Nuisance Stations, I did the Mean Bitches. I've worked with MILF.com a couple of times now. The Girlfriends films a couple of times now. And then up and coming, I have Pinky.com and Perv City and Reality Kings, which I'm really excited about. Those ones are coming up, and I'm like, what else have I done?
So you've been pretty busy. I mean, you don't have like an exclusive deal with Brazzers. Like you obviously can work with anybody you want. Is there companies that, if you had to throw your business card out there, is there places that you would like to work with?
Yeah, I think they're probably the ones you're going to hear just about everyone say, just because it is what it is. So I wanted the Reality Kings. Finally, that one's happening. I mean, I think it would be cool to do like Blacked, you know, Vixen, you know, like, I guess it's like, trying to think of some of the other ones, but
there's a lot of companies out there.
Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to think of all the companies.
Now, we took some fan questions, and a couple fans wanted to know. One fan wanted to know, what's your social life like? You said you have a small circle of friends, but do you get the opportunity to kind of go out and kind of be social, or do you find that being in the business makes it harder to kind of have a social life as far as like dating or not dating, or, you know, being recognized?
So I'm probably going to tell you what most people wouldn't expect, and that is that I'm a huge introvert.
Really?
I like to be the wallflower. I don't really go out very often. Like I said, I have a small circle. Now, I've been single for going on 8 years now.
Oh, wow.
I've dated less and less throughout, kind of throughout time. I don't know. I go through cycles. Sometimes I'll go, oh, I want to go find some date, and then I just kind of just like, whatever. Let me focus more on my own stuff. It's not that important.
Well, that's good. Self-love is best love, You got to make sure you're happy.
I get lonely sometimes, but at the end of the day, I enjoy it,
I was gonna say those DMs are just about to blow up now that you said that.
What?
You said that you're lonely. I was like, all those DMs are gonna start blowing up now. People are going like,
yeah, I was lying if if people are, oh my God, I'm just so single and I love it. Like, yeah, I do. I get to do whatever I want all the time, but sometimes, it would be nice to be cuddled up with the person I choose to be cuddled up with and go on trips or do fun things with. But there was something else you asked, and
about being recognized. Do people recognize you? Have you gone out anywhere? I know you say don't go out much, but in the times that you have gone out, have people looked at you and you're Jenna Starr?
Yeah, people wait. When you're, and I should probably start talking to other porn stars about this because I'm it's a little weird because people don't want to say hi. They just act weird. They do weird things. Like I had a note left under my door at a hotel, and I'm just like, okay, that's how you're gonna introduce yourself.
I guess people were nervous and intimidated.
I have feelings. Well, a lot of it is I don't like it's hard for me to tell the difference between if they're just looking at me because I'm a good looking woman because that's always happened, or if they're looking at me because they know who I am, but people are just acting weird around me and shifty, but it's hard to tell the difference. Until I get messages, I saw you here, or... Yeah,
that part is weird.
Someone just said they were my neighbor in my life, and I don't know if that's true or not. I had neighbors in my Dallas place messaging me. Some lady... people were kind of recognizing me before all of that because I had already had my own fan base that I was working on with my OnlyFans, and then with my social media platforms, I was, I was just building myself as just me, people were just knowing I just made it a reason,
Now, is there a certain type of guy or girl that you are mostly attracted to? Because I kind of feel like being an adult star and being recognized, you get people with bad intentions. Guys, obviously, they're just in it for one thing. Is it hard to weed out, the certain type of guys that you're looking for?
It always was.
Okay.
And that's the thing.
So even before being known in the business, it was always guys had a one-track mind.
I gotta be very, I just want to be very upfront about that. It's always been like that, So most guys just want to fuck. It is what it is, and that's how it was. And I'm new to this industry, so we can't sit here and say that that's what it is. I'm sure it's starting to play its own role in a sense, but yeah, it's always been that way.
So it's probably going to take that. Trying to find that perfect guy or girl is going to be. It's going to be tough, And have you ever, had to tell people, this is what I do? How far into a conversation with somebody before you let them know what it is that you do?
I started practicing at one point, just saying it.
Hi, I'm Jenna. I'm a porn star.
No.
I knew it.
Meeting people. So now, I'm pretty open about it. People ask me to do, and I'm like, well, I'm a professional social media influencer and professional adult filmer. And yeah, that's what I do. And I just, like, whatever, pretty open with a lot of it now.
Because I kind of feel like if I'm a guy, that could go one of two ways. Like, a guy's either going to be really excited for the fact, and they think they're going to smash, or they're going to be, totally turned off on it. But I guess you kind of have to let people know that.
They're always excited and want to smash. And the turnoff really is like, it's not even a real, like, exist. It's just more of a jealousy kind of thing that sets in. Like, oh, I could never be with a woman like that. I mean, that's just because, you feel jealous.
Yeah, there's some insecurities there.
Yeah.
So
it's hard, but it is what it is. We're all human. We have feelings, and it is hard to share.
Now, someone asked too, is like, what's a typical day like for you? Having, been in the business now, like, how often are you shooting? Like, take us through a normal day.
I'm a workaholic. Having 3 interviews today basically describes that to a T. I was going to set them all up in one day. I'm going to work on some my own solo content today, and do the custom. And I'm getting ready to go to LA, so I gotta, make sure I pack my bag, and then everything usually revolves around work. I did take one day off the other day, and I got drunk, like really drunk, and that was cool. There was a party at my complex, so I was like, oh, let me, try to make some friends and be social. So I met some people. Yeah, it's like I'm either going to do content for OnlyFans or I'm going to do a scene. Yeah, I'm working all the time, and if I'm not doing that, I'm planning something. I'm setting up a photo shoot, or I need to go through photos and book flights. And today I called it my office day, since I'd put 3 interviews in one day, and then, I'm going to sit there and look at flights and just kind of organize things and recap on what I'm supposed to be doing, because I have ADHD really bad. So.
It happens to the best of us. So how are you adjusting to life in Las Vegas? Because you recently moved. So what's life in Vegas compared to, because you were a northern, Cali girl, then went to Texas, now in Vegas. What's the cultural change?
Okay, so I always said I would never, this is why you never say never. I always said I would never move to Vegas, and it would be the last place I'd move on the face of the planet. And when I would come out here and I would work, it just didn't seem very, enticing at all. But I'm like, well, if this starts taking off, I'm going to have to, which I've done before with other businesses and stuff, I'm going to have to give more of my time to it. I'm going to have to put more into that and then let go of some other things or something. So I planned for a while, okay, I'm going to move, and then I finally decided to do it. And I didn't think I was going to like it at all, but I was doing it for work, and there was going to be a greater purpose. Now that I'm here and things are starting to come together, and the scenes are starting to come in, and the collabs, and then how much it's aiding to my success and benefiting my work and the things that I need for work, the photo shoots, everything. And the fact that I've been blessed to have my sister come out and visit me, my brother come out and visit me because I'm closer. I've been able to see just about my whole family within 1 month of the move. So I would say things are so much better than they used to be. And Vegas is just it just feels like more comfortable, more of my stride. I still get the Karens, running around, staring at me funny, giving me dirty looks, or telling me my butt's hanging out just in case I didn't know. But in general, people expect to see me here. You know what I mean? I'm at the pool, I'm not getting like the soccer mom stares. Like people are like, okay, this is Vegas. You know, she's probably doing some kind of extra, like, you know, something to do with sex or some shit, you know, she might a filmer or something.
You're not like in the middle of like Wisconsin somewhere where it's like everybody's looking at you like, what, like, did you miss a turn somewhere? Did you get off at the wrong flight? Or
Exactly. I mean, I still get some weird stuff, but it's not as bad as it was like in Texas. And yeah, when I go to the smaller towns and stuff, you know.
Now, what plans and goals do you have like in the future? Like, is short term, long term? What can we expect from Jenna Starr?
You know, I still the beginning. I'm really trying to still get my name out there and get in with you know, a lot of the companies I haven't had a chance to work with yet. And that, I mean, that's really it for this year. That's my goal, is to have enough, to create enough OnlyFans content and to do as many professional scenes as I can. And I'm just balancing all this stuff out. And that'll set me up for whatever's going to hold for next year.
Well, very awesome. Let everybody know where we can find you at on socials, because I know you're actively on, you know, like I said, OnlyFans, and you're on all these other, you know, different platforms that people are. I can't keep up with all these platforms, I'll be honest with you. But I mean, you're on like Fansly and you're on other places, so let everybody know where they could find the original you.
So I have finally registered. I'm so excited. I am a registered porn star on Pornhub as my name, Jenna Starr, with 2 R's. So I'm super excited about my Pornhub. This is going to be huge for me this year. My OnlyFans is Jenna1_Starr with 2 R's. My Twitter is the same as my Instagram account, and it is Jenna2_Starr with 2 R's. And then my mini vids is Jenna_Starr. And then my Fansly, I'm like, what is it?
Because, I mean, there's people that pretend, and you know, there's imitators out there, so we will make sure we get the real deal Jenna Starr.
Yeah, so I do have my Instagram that's Jenna FYD. So those are the only 2 accounts you will find, is the Jenna2_Starr with 2 R and Jenna FYD. Any other Instagram account just is not me. Unless I give anybody further details, God forbid, I leave an account. And then there's, let me see, the Fansly is, let me find.
Now, how do you keep up with all these? Like, because I would feel like that's like an all-day job right there.
Yeah, you want to know the real truth? I am high-functioning autistic, and I am ADHD severe. So I'm also like dyslexic, and you know, all kinds of things are going on. But what it is that my brain functions at a really high level. So I'm able to multitask on an extremely high rate and pace.
I was gonna say, because like I said, to me, that would just be an all-day activity, like updating all these sites and answering questions and.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like I think that's why I don't fuck with all these other apps. I'm like, yeah, I'm a Twitter and Instagram kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm constantly like going and you know, and I'm getting a lot better about trying to be organized, because it's usually just all over the place, and whenever I think about something, I do it and whatever, and then I've over like the obsessive compulsive. I've learned how to use it to my advantage. When they say you have superpowers with ADHD and all that stuff, I learned how to use the things that would be negative. I learned how to use it to my advantage and using it to be successful. So obsessive compulsive. So if I'm obsessive and compulsive about my Instagram account, about my Twitter, about my OnlyFans, that is like I become obsessed with it, and I constantly like mess with it, and then I just get addicted to like it's like playing a game, like when guys play video games or girls. And it's like playing a game, and like boom, you just hit another level. And there's so much more to it than people realize. It's not just take a picture, sell it, or take a picture, you know, get followers.
But it's a good hustler's mentality, like being involved in all these different apps. And, you know, I always tell people, it's like, just Google. Google's your friend. You know, Google will pull up all kinds of, you know, links for stuff. And I said, that's why I mean, you're a better person than I am, because like I said, I can't do Snapchat. I can't do this. I can't, like, I mean, I feel like every day there's a new site or app, and I'm like, that's when I start feeling old. I'm like, I don't know what the hell that is.
So that's what I'm trying to say is about right now, my goals have been about being more organized. So for instance, today I scheduled 3 interviews instead of going, oh, I'm going to have one over here and then randomly have another one in this time in the month and then one over here. I was like, wait a minute. If I try to schedule my interviews and organize them like I put 3 in today, then I don't have to, you know, worry about, well, because I'll forget I have them. And then, you know, I'm like, do. And then Tanya's like, hey, Jenna. And I'm like, ooh. Yeah, that's right. Like when I was moving, oh my goodness, I forgot I had a bunch of interviews and stuff going on. But being more organized, I want to have a day where that's the one day I do all my solo content. You know, having a day designated for everything, and then throughout the day, it's like I got to sit there and get up in the morning and plan, this is going to be the Twitter post, and this is going to be the Instagram post, and then I also need the content for each of these. You know, I have Twitter content, I have Instagram content, I have OnlyFans content, I have, you know, now there's going to be Pornhub content, because then I've got this whole plan about how I'm going to run that, and, you know, it's going to be different. You know, so the goal for my Pornhub coming up is that I'm going to post on there, and it's mainly for marketing, and it's going to be, you know, something that you're only going to find there.
Very awesome. Very awesome. I mean, like you said, you seem like you got goals and you got plans, and I mean, it's been awesome trying, you know, just watching this whole journey this past year, and it's been an absolute honor to talk to you and be able to kind of get into the world of, you know, what it is to be Jenna Starr. And, I mean, we're excited to see new things from you. And everybody, make sure you follow her on all her platforms. I mean, I'm jotting all these down now because I need to start re-upping all my subscriptions to find out, you know, where all this content is going to be. So is there anything else you want the fans to know before we get out of here?
Well, I'm glad I brought up my Pornhub. That was actually, like I've been so excited about that. So I really want them to know about that and to be looking for a lot of cool things coming from there. I think everyone pretty much knows about my OnlyFans at this point. So I do work on my Fansly as well, so that's also another option for them. But other than that, I'm just really, really thankful and appreciative that people even think I'm cool.
I do. I think you're kick-ass. And, I mean, 2-point-some million viewers, you know, watching this video. I mean, it's just like, and you stop and you think about that. Like, that's like a small nation. That's like a little country. You know, that's like like seriously, like that's like you conquered, like, I mean, there's probably like 2 million and like, I don't know what the smallest state in the United States is, but whatever the smallest state is, I'm sure the population is like 2 million. You just conquered an entire state. So you got 49 to go. And we're going to be here rooting you on. So we thank you, Jenna, for talking to us. We can't wait to see more things from you coming up soon.
Thank you. Hello, this is Jenna Starr, and you are listening to Masta on MMB Radio.